Hi, I'm Jooste, Coface South Africa. I'm the Commercial Director. So what we are seeing at the moment is that a lot of South African companies are looking towards East Africa in order to develop their markets and to develop their turnovers. I think the main reason for that is that there's a natural affinity for English-speaking companies to go back to predominantly regions that previously were English-speaking as well. And so Kenya is a very nice market, and what we're finding is that a lot of European companies are either setting up head offices in South Africa or in Kenya, Nairobi. And those are the two hubs that we are finding at the moment. So there's a lot of business that's being developed and a lot of business that's being generated out of that area. Kenya, what also makes it further interesting is that Kenya has got a working agreement similar to our SADC agreement with the rest of the countries that is situated on its borders. And so it is very easy to expand your business out of the Kenyan region. A market that is also starting to look very attractive for us at the moment is Ghana. Ghana has got a particular situation at the moment where they are finding themselves in a difficult position as a result of their currency and the exchange control that is currently being imposed in that country. So Ghana is a great market, but unfortunately at the moment, and I think for 2015, Ghana will not be an immediate area for expansion into. Everybody obviously loves Nigeria, and Nigeria is a fairy tale, but we need to warn against Nigeria as well. Nigeria is a very difficult country to do business in. We're seeing that a lot of companies that are doing business there have to establish a partnership agreement. They cannot go in it on their own. And I think that is a lesson that we are learning more and more and more. There's a particular method that needs to be applied for every business to do business in Africa. There's a difference in the cultures, there's a difference in the languages, there's diversity in the people, and we need to understand from our own point of view that it's not around the corner. And so it's much more difficult to do business in those type of countries as well. What we're also finding is that European companies and American companies or North American companies are looking more and more at the African continent. It is truly the last frontier. And based on that, companies are seeing a lot of opportunities to develop and to make profits. But Africa is a very undeveloped country, and a lot of the infrastructures has not been developed, and that's why we're seeing the Chinese coming into Africa mainly to develop the infrastructure roles very cheaply in order to get a footprint in those countries. We're also seeing a huge drive from North American companies to invest into Africa. And I think what we're also seeing is that those companies are finding it very easy to do business out of South Africa. And I think South Africa has previously always been described as the gateway into Africa. And we need to be careful not to overestimate our power in that, because there's a lot of up-and-coming countries, like, for example, neighbors like Mozambique, our neighbors like Namibia, Angola, that is rich in oil. That's very attractive to foreign investors. And we're seeing, for example, in Mozambique, the development that's going on in the northern region. That region is just expanding. And that is all on the basis of coal and oil. And similar with Namibia, with the offshore oil, the reserves that they found there. Angola probably a little bit less than the Namibian Mozambique, because Angola has already gone through that quick growth phase. The second thing that is very attractive in the African continent is the growth, the economical growth. We're seeing levels that is far exceeding that we're seeing in Europe and the USA. So a company that can establish a business in a developing market is assured of a developing turnover and a developing profit margin. And so that attraction is there as well. One phenomenon that we're seeing that is probably very positive for the African continent is that the big banks are already expanding into Africa, and the big banks has already got a very good foothold on the African continent. We look, for example, Standard Bank being one of the biggest, ABSA, we're seeing where they have taken over the operations of Barclays Africa, which is very good and very positive for South African companies, because we deal with a financial institution that is already known to us and we know how they operate, and that gives us a lot more confidence to move into those markets.